Hi, and welcome to Unit 3. As part of what we're learning, this time we will get into something that is one of our biggest aids when it comes to dealing with people, that is, designing presentations. Whenever you have a major point to make that cannot be explained in one line, one word, a conversation, or even a simple image, very often a series of arguments have to be made in order to convince the other party. For that, all of us rely on something called presentations. What is a presentation? All of you are familiar with formats like your PowerPoint, then Google Slides, as well as Keynote for Apple users. But apart from just using these tools since childhood, what we need to understand that is a presentation is basically a visual aid that helps you communicate information very clearly. There are some things that you can communicate verbally. Then there are some things that become clearer only after you give them a visual aid, after you show them something, and that is what helps them get the point very clearly. The third thing is to be able to communicate in a structured manner. And the fourth is to be able to persuade, inspire, or teach something new. All of these are things that require a presentation to help them. Now, in order to present something, in order to create a beautiful, a stunning presentation, what should you keep in mind? Before you get started, you first have to ask yourself what the main purpose of your presentation is. Are you trying to present an idea to somebody where the goal is convincing someone about something new? Are you trying to tell them a story, something that you say you are here today as a result of XYZ in the past? Or are you trying to teach something, a completely new topic, to people, where the goal is both clarity and conveyance of information? When you try to segregate these things, then you will understand what it is that you are trying to do. The next thing that you have to keep in mind is consider who you are presenting to. What kind of audience are you dealing with? Are you dealing with school kids? Are you dealing with college students? Are you dealing with a general public outside? Are you dealing with an audience in one particular country or some other country? Are you dealing with specialists who have come for a conference? Or are you dealing with somebody political like an IAS, IPS, or people in the government? Based on who you are presenting to, you need to tailor make your communication to make sure that they get all the information they need to understand it properly. Now, the third thing is what your goal of the presentation is. Are you trying to entertain somebody just by telling a story or conveying an idea or making an impact? Are you trying to educate someone, which is either through creation or conveyance of new ideas or teaching certain concepts? Or are you trying to convince people of an idea where the goal is to gain their approval and therefore procure either funding or support for something like this? For example, if you want to have a project done in your neighborhood, then you not only have to convince the governing body of your neighborhood, but you also have to convince the local people. So that is two different audiences. What is your goal? When you try to think about it this way, it will become much clearer. That brings us to the next thing. What is your main message? What is the big idea that you want to communicate? And how will you put it across to people? How are you sharing this? Are you going to be present in person in front of these people, standing in front of the slide so that you can change it one thing to another? Or will you be sending the presentation in an email so that they can actually read through it in their own time and consider it a document that they can refer back to? Or will you be publishing this presentation on the web on a platform like SlideShare or Behance so that people can freely look at what you have done and decide what they want to do? Whenever you make these decisions, that is what will help you decide your direction in making presentations.